May all of us be blessed. Let us begin with the Shantri Mantra. Asato ma satkamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome, my dear seekers of truth, seekers of spirituality. It is worthwhile to refresh us every day. Then wait for 10 years or when we are 70, then we will start to be ritualistic and then we will be spiritual. Then it would be very difficult because the rigors have already set in. Now is the Holy Week, is the 21st. Today also the 21st December, the longest night on this earth. And today, this is the time when sun is closest to earth. It is closest to earth. The maximum gravitational force is on earth right now. And at the same time, notice in the northern hemisphere of earth, it is very cold. And southern hemisphere, it is very hot. Why? Because the tilt of the axis of the earth's rotational, the north and the south, and the Tropic of Cancer and the equator. Those countries which are below the equator, they get the maximum sun's ray. And the northern part get the least, and that is why those who are above the equator, it's colder, and it's the coldest to the North Pole right now. This is the time when the maximum gravitational force. So as per the ancient yogis, this is the time when the ancient India and the Vedantic principles, they used to go and observe brahmacharya for 6 weeks and 8 weeks and things like that. Jesus Christ was born on such a day. Now 25th of December is just around the corner. As per the Christianity, the largest religion of the world is the holiest week and the Easter Sunday when Jesus Christ rose again. Good Friday, Jesus Christ was crucified. And this Holy Week is the time when Jesus was born in the manger, and which is, have you noticed a similarity between Krishna was born in a jail, Jesus Christ was born in a manger, that is in the shepherd and the cow shed. How come? This is the message to you and I. Lord Jesus Christ in the book of Matthew is talking about the Sermon on the Mount. The Sermon on the Mount in the northern part of the Australia. Jesus Christ were traveling all around and thousands followed Jesus. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus Christ took his closest of the disciples, and in the northern part of Israel, he went and taught them the choicest of the teaching. These are those Sermon on the Mount on the Vedantic principle by Swami Prabhupada, who had translated the Sermon on the Mount from Book of Matthew. So I'm going to share with you a few of them, the choicest of the teachings, similar to the great masters like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He used to also give his choicest of the teaching to close his door to Swami Vivekananda, Brahmananda, and like that. He will close the door, look around, nobody is listening, and he will come inside and teach them. This is the teachings that the great masters have always taught. I'm going to share with you a few of this teaching as it comes to me. The first of these are called the Beatitude, and the mountain Sermon on the Mount is called the Mountain of the Beatitude. The teachings of Jesus Christ. Very beautiful, very powerful. Then most of the churchgoers believe that this is only meant The Sermon on the Mount is meant for only a selected few, those who are going to be closest to God. That is, not for everyone. Whereas Leo Tolstoy says, it is to bring kingdom of heaven on earth. And this is what it means, that when you listen to the Sermon on the Mount, they are in brief. We shall talk in details on Sunday. See, the first of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus Christ goes ahead and says, "Poor, blessed are the poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven." Blessed are the poor in spirit. Poor meaning garibi. Just think, how can it be? You know, the similar statement Krishna told Arjuna, "Amanityam idam nityam. Amanityam adam nityam." Amanityam is, there is something for me to learn every moment. Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, when you truly search for God, that means it is like when you're really thirsty, you will drink any water. Even in a dirty pond, you remove the scum with your hand and drink the water if you're really thirsty. So you don't have to wait for the clean water, good water. When you're really thirsty, you will see God in everything and everyone. Adam Nityam is show of religion. Krishna is saying most people tend to show a show of religion. I am very religious. I practice to the family members, to the people around, and act like a guru. Act like one. The true gurus are silent and quiet and only choose a few selected, like Jesus Christ chose in the Sermon on the Beatitude, Sermon on the Mount. You know, there is to be a 12th century a story, a drama, spiritual drama. It is to be called Prabodhya Chandrodya. This story in which the Pandit, who used to, sprinkle the Ganges water wherever he put his foot to say, purify that place. I cannot put my foot unless it is pure. That land should be pure. So it is said that the story, the play which goes on, 12th century play, that Brahma eventually invited him to the heaven. And when this Pandit goes to heaven, he is sprinkling the water on the seat which Brahma pointed out to him. Seeing his problem, now Brahma, the creator of the universe, he said, "Okay, my son, come and sit on my lap." And as the story goes, he sprinkles water in Brahma's lap also, meaning purifying Brahma's lap. This is show of religion. The very beginning of spiritual life comes when we are humble. The poor in spirit, meaning humbleness. This humility alone will take you to the true teaching. You'll be open to the teaching. You'll be ready to listen, ready to receive. There is this famous story when a man goes to the Guru and says, "Please teach me Zen." And the Zen master said, "Okay." And as he started teaching him, this man said, "Oh, I know that. I have read it in so-and-so book. Oh, I know that. I have heard from so-and-so." So the Zen master said, "Let's have tea ceremony." So they sit down at the typical low bench on the floor, and there the Zen master starts to pour tea. And as he starts to pour tea, he keeps on pouring to the disciple who had come down to learn Zenism. And it starts to overflow. And the Zen, that boy who was wanting to be a Zen disciple, he stood up and said, "Sir, what are you doing? It is spilling." The Zen master looked up and gently said, "Precisely, unless your cup is empty, how will you taste my tea?" So most of us are not understanding that when we are humble, then only the true learning takes place in our heart. You know, in the Hindu temple, when we go down to the temple, we remove our shoes. That removal of the shoes, which it means, is that become deaf and dumb. It means deaf and dumb. It means that deaf and dumb meaning when I can hear is because of my that sense called hearing, ear. When I'm dumb, I cannot speak. That means my speech is lost. When I cannot see, that means my eye is lost. So deaf and dumb and blind meaning leave your senses outside the door. Leave being a father, mother, a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter, a profession, a doctor, a lawyer, an appointment, or whatever the urgency, and leave all the complaints that you got to seek with the prayers. Please, 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 God, give it to me. I want your grace. The beautiful statement in the Sermon on the Mount, notice Jesus Christ taught how to sit still, how to live in the desert, how to be silent. Jesus Christ's teaching is to how to be humble. He is teaching this humbleness will empty out, and then you're ready to receive. You created a pure place for the God to be there. How can that such love be lost? Just think, Sister Teresa, a very famous lady priest, to a certain extent she would never eat, and yet she lived for a long, long life, never ate. And when on every Good Friday, when the Jesus Christ, every Friday, that is, when the Jesus Christ was crucified on a Friday, and his hand and feet bled, and Jesus Christ also, that same way, Sister Teresa's hand is to automatically, the feet is to automatically, the neck is to automatically bleed out to the wound from the thorn. This Sister Teresa one day has a vision. In that vision, she sees a very elegant looking man is standing. Before Teresa could ask, "Who are you?" this man said, "Who are you?" to Sister Teresa. Sister Teresa said, "I am Teresa of Jesus." "Who are you?" And this man said, "I'm Jesus of Teresa." Such love, which is always there for the devotees, how can it be? Just think, as these days come, whether it is the celebrations of the Hinduism or Islam or Christianity, right now during this powerful, the Holy Week, let us not forget that I have everything in my house, but I have not invited you to my house. My house, whether this body or this abode in which we live, how much space do we have? Have you noticed? We tend to have in our house everything, whether it is a kitchen, whether it's changing clothes or walk-in closet or bar or eating place and dining table and study table. We have everything. How many do we truly have a worship corner? And generally, the worship corner is in one corner of the house, a small little temple, and that's good enough. That's the priority. Whereas the big furniture, big cupboards, big sofa set go on to occupy the whole house. In other words, all we are doing is going for materialism, materialism, materialism. These are the senses which are driving us outside. Notice, all our senses go out, grab the world and bring it to you. And when we go to the temple or the church or the mosque and we are praying, "Please, please, God, give us your grace." Hey, God's grace is always there. Like this light, like the beautiful wind, the air. It's always there. You don't have to turn your nose for a particular side to breathe. It's always there, just like the grace. Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, Lord's grace is always there. Are you ready to receive it? It is like a boatman is rowing the boat. This is this very famous story. And he is wanting to cross the river Ganga. And he's sweating away. Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, all you have to do, stop struggling with this samsara and try to cross by pulling the boat. He says, all you have to do, pull the sail up. There is wind. All you have to take the grace of the God's wind through the sail, and you can now hold the rudder and just gently steer your life away towards that beauty and the purity. See, Jesus Christ says, blessed are that who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Mourn, those who are mourning, that means for my beloved, my father, mother, my friend, my wife, my husband is dead. No. Blessed are those who mourn, meaning who really cry their heart out to God. We are playing with the dirt on the road and playing with the dirt and forgotten. Notice a baby, mother gives the baby the toys, and baby is cooing and playing with the toy, and mother is busy working. The divine mother of the universe, the God or Christ, whatever you say, or Allah, is giving us toys to play with on this samsara. We are busy playing with it. So, mother, divine mother, God, Allah is busy with his work. But when the baby throws away the toys and howls and says, Mama, mother leaves everything and comes running. This is called blessed are those who mourn, those who cry for God. Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, we cry for our children, for our husband, for our wife, for our parent, for our money, for our name, for our fame, for our loss of. But how many cry for not having established God or Divine Mother into our life, or the realization? Paramahansa Ramakrishna is to roll on the bank of the river Ganges. His cheek is to bleed with the stones of the river Ganges. And people used to think, he used to cry, Mother, Mother, one more day has gone and I have not seen you. And people used to think, this poor Brahmin boy must have come from the village as a pujari here and is missing his mother in the village. But actually he used to miss what we later on knew, that it is the Divine Mother he was wanting, and eventually you all know. So, this Easter, this Jesus Christ is reminding us everything is possible. The grace is always there. Now, we are gifted with this powerful body, able body. Very few have disability and sickness and disease. And those who have, they can easily get out of that by practicing ancient Vedantic practices, Indian yogas, or of any spiritual practices, whether it is Zennism or Buddhism or Jainism or Sikhism or Hinduism or Christianity or Islam, any practice, whether you call it jal or pani or tanni or water or eau in French or washer in German, all are only water. It's only water. One thing, many names. One presence, one spirituality. So many presence we have. And this is the East and the West. There is to be one Pratrikos written by Evergrease. Evergrease is one of the staunch. I will tell you the story of Evergrease on Sunday. He was known to have, very young, he is the one who wrote this. How can we fix our mind on God unless we become deaf and dumb? When you pray, pray by being deaf and dumb. Focus your mind totally onto the God. And how can it be that the God won't, that grace is there? Imagine This earth is round. Can you walk on top of a ball? It's so difficult for you and me to walk and balance. But we have been given, endowed with powerful memory. That memory brings balance. Have you noticed? As the people get old, they tend to fall down. Why? Because they tend to lose their memory. When you lose memory, you'll be surprised. You lose sense of balance. So, when you practice with this yogic abhyasa, with Kriya Yoga, with the mindfulness meditation, with Vedanta meditation, and every other meditative form, you get connected. You get connected. And how can we fix our mind? By bringing in simplicity. We will continue to. Have you realized that this life is like a bridge from this part of the river to that part of the river? And this life, this earth is like the bridge. Have you realized you can never, and nobody does, build his house on top of a bridge? Isn't it? But we tend to build houses on this so-called this earth and samsara. And this is how we are suffering. This is how we are ignorant of the grace which is always there. This is the grace which has given us a powerful body, a beautiful mind with memory, intellect, with ego, and with tremendous imagination. With this imagination, when you imagine the future and brilliantly paint it in your mind and believe in what you see and what you dream, then the power which is there further than the body, the mind, and then comes the consciousness. Have you realized if you and I are not awake, not focused, not concentrated with our consciousness, with our awareness, you cannot see anything, hear anything, eat anything, learn anything, touch anything, enjoy anything. It is only possible when it is the mind, the brain, the senses are powered by, like the sun powering the moon. The sun is the consciousness powering the mind, brain, and the senses. Then the world is seen and enjoyed. This world is the outside, but we are forgetting to get connected to that world within, which is the temple. So in this Holy Week, remember, we shall cover the Sermon of the Mount, and there are beautiful beatitudes. At the same time, great teachings of Bhagavad Gita, of the Vedanta, Upanishadic truth, for us to all reminded upon. They get connected with our own self. This journey, deeper, purer, higher experiences of God will automatically take you to deeper and purer and feel lighter. And then you will see your prayers become so powerful. Evergrace says, the very famous Christian mystic, he says, pray first for the gift of tears, so that by means of sorrow you may soften your native rudeness. So beautiful. Pray to God first for the gift of tears, so that God, please make my heart weep for the longing for you, so that by means of sorrow you may soften my native rudeness, ego, and I can soften to bow down. And this is what it means. Blessed are the poor in heart, for they shall inherit the heaven. This is the teaching. And directly going on to learning to ask questions, the good way, the bad way, the people in the world are not realizing that every moment of our life is filled with grace. Otherwise, you will be dead. And that grace, as per Mandakya Upanishad, is the same awareness. So we have four existences. Remember, dear devotees, Vedantis, first is the awakened state, like right now, unless my dog is putting you to sleep. Two is the dream sleep state. And third is the deep sleep state. These are the three states of existence every human, every living creature have. And the fourth one is, as per Mandaka, is called awareness. You know that you're alive. You know you're listening, you're sitting in a house or somewhere. You know that you are there. You're present on this earth. You're not dead and gone. How? That awareness is consciousness. Awareness, consciousness, Chit. It is like the sun's ray falls on the moon. But how are we unconscious? Have you ever looked at a full moon? The other day, Buddha Purnima went, Guru Purnima went. Did you ever, Holy Purnima, did you ever say, what beautiful sunlight when you looked at the full moon? No, we said, what beautiful moonlight. We are ignorant and we do not realize that the God's grace, the hand, is always there. This is what it means. The kingdom of heaven would be there when you are poor in spirit. I'll just read out 2 or 3 more. Blessed are they that mourn, though it will cry for God, for they shall be comforted by God. God will protect thee. Third, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Meek, most parents teach our children to be daring, courageous, bold, demand, fight your way out, grab in whatever way, whatever you want from this earth and life. But here is the opposite. Blessed are those who are meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Patanjali talks about the same thing. And blessed are they also who hunger and thirst after the righteousness, for they shall be filled. And it goes on. I wish you good luck and happy journey into this beautiful holy week. Remember, establish, along with being a deaf and dumb, removing your slippers, removing your identity of so-called body, mind, name, form and function, and be empty to receive God in your heart. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Isha Upanishad. Think Purna takes birth from Purnam. And when you take Purnam away from Purnam, Purnam alone remains. It can never be depleted. That's who you are. And that's your consciousness, Chaitana. May you be blessed with your prayers and with your journey for realization. Seeker of truth. Jai Guru.